Yo, how's it going? Josh of the Dead here. And who else?
Gregory, what's your name
Oh.
there?
Gregory Scarific. Dilly dilly, everybody.
And I'm Buffalo Trace, keeping it real. Buffalo Trace and Coke Zero.
Oh, I'm just Pepsi Man.
Normally I'm just Buffalo Trace, but since we're talking hour here, I didn't want to get too loaded.
Lemonade here.
So tonight we are talking all about 90s horror because our 80s horror show did so well for us. We decided let's click it up to the decade where I became really familiar with horror, would be the 90s, because I was born in 83, so obviously I wasn't going to the theater seeing horror movies in the 80s. So in the 90s is where I was able to finally go to see some horror movies when they were coming out new, and it was awesome. So I don't know, what do you guys just memories of 90s and horror? Mike, you worked at a movie theater, right, in the 90s still?
Yes, I worked in the late 80s to early 90s. And probably mid 90s. Actually, I worked off and on through the theaters till really about 2000. So, one of these I really remember when we get to it, when somebody talks about it. I'll remember it in the 90s and it at the theater, and it scared the shit out of me.
No,
so,
it never went to the theater, Mike.
No, I'm talking it the movie, not it the movie. The movie I want to talk about that. I don't want to spoil it right now.
I was about to say that was just on TV, the Stephen King.
Yeah, it wasn't it, but there's a movie that I didn't want to spoil right now that that was really awesome at the theater.
Okay, Gregory, what's the memories of 90s for you?
Well, 90s, I was actually introduced more to 80s movies in the 90s, like the some earlier Nightmare on Elm Street movies when they were like USA and stuff. But then in the 90s, of course, there was a lot of movies that came out in the early 90s that I grew up with that will probably be going over. So I don't want to say any right now.
Right.
But 80s into 90s was pretty good horror, I think. So I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember sitting next to this girl on the bus who was like older than me, probably in like 91 or 92. And she was older than me. And I remember she'd tell me about like all these horror movies from like the 80s. And I was just so intrigued by these movies. I never saw them or really knew anything about them. But yeah, I love it. And like I said, my first horror, I'm just going to start it off. My first horror movie that I ever saw in the theater, I'm going to start with that one. And that is 1997's I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I still love this movie. Look I even have the VHS copy here.
I have that too.
And it has like colors on here. But to me, this still holds up. I like this. I like the story. I know it came out in the wave of like after Scream blew up. So then all these teen slashers came out. But this is actually from the writer, the guy that wrote Scream, wrote this too. Kevin Williamson, I think is his name.
Yep.
And yeah, so he actually wrote this one. And to me, I like this young cast. Freddie Prinze Jr., I don't really like him that much in the movie. But Jeff Love Hewitt is good. Ryan Phillippe, I love him in it. To me, the person that steals the movie is Sarah Michelle Gellar. Her portrayal in the movie, I think her name's Helen. Can't really remember right now. But to me, she is the best part of this movie, just the way she is in it. And I love it. I love the killer. He's a fisherman with a hook. I at that point, I never seen anybody like a killer like that. I'm sure there probably was in the past that I didn't know about. But at that point, I did never see that, I just like the movie. It takes place over. It's a 4th of July horror movie, which I like that too. And like I said, really good young cast at the time. And it's one of my favorites. Mike, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm going to steal it right off the bat then, because I just had a segue here just a second ago about it. Working at the movie theater, standing in front of the mirror saying, Candyman, 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 Candyman. I'm not going to say it the 5th time. Candyman at the movie theater, saw it with my mother. Mother went with me. I worked at the movie theater, was an usher there. And damn, that was a scary movie. You know, it's really a movie I thought, in a way, ahead of its time, talking about social issues,
Yeah. Yes.
slavery, and you know, stuff like that. The story behind it. Is it, what's his name? Tony Todd, or what's his name?
Yeah. Tony Todd plays Candyman.
Yeah, awesome job with him.
Yep.
The whole, you know, but during that time period in the wasn't that early to mid 90s, early 90s?
92. It came out in 92, Mike.
Yeah, during that time period, there was a lot of like kind of ritual things you did, you know, kind of like nowadays it's Momo and all this kind of stuff. But man, Candyman, going and finding that room inside the house behind the mirror and climbing. I mean, it's just so scary for the time. There was, I think, some other things people said. If you
Bloody
said it
Mary.
in the mirror, huh?
Bloody Mary.
Yeah, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody. So it kind of played off that. I mean, there's a bunch of rituals. I mean, you know, folklores that people have said like that, but it was really a good movie for its time, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, and like you said, it actually also has a really good story behind it. It's not just, oh, this guy's going around killing people. It's like there's a purpose behind it.
There's a reason why. Yeah, you're the whole time you're thinking, you know, he's in the kind of rough part of town, and that was different too, to be in the rough part of town and have a killer, and you know, an African American killer. That was a kind of a killer in the things. That was kind of new for that time period too. So I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, it is. It is really good. I haven't saw it in a while, but it does.
Gregory, I'm sure you've seen that, right?
Yeah, I've seen all of them. They're kind of for me, actually. I mean, even the remake or the whatever you want, the sequel.
I like the original still better, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I've finally seen them all.
Okay, Gregory, you're up next, buddy.
I'm gonna go for the full enchilada in my mind. I don't remember what movie I've seen in the theater. Actually, I know what you did last summer might have been the first horror movie I've seen in the theater, but the one that really stands out for me, and I'm sure Josh will agree, is the original Scream Wes Craven classic.
Yep.
That came out in '96, and I went and saw that movie. My dad had to sit through it because I was too young to watch it, and my friend and I wanted to see it, so my dad watched it. I think he actually ended up liking it, but I still remember to this day just the feeling of it and how it was not seeing anything like it before. Just, you know, remembering the trailer, then watching the movie and just thinking, oh, that was in a trailer. Oh, wow, this is happening. And they didn't really market it as a horror movie yet, from what I've seen, you know, in the past. From what I remember, they marketed it like a whodunit. Because I remember back when it was in the newspapers, they showed a picture of Scream and then somebody running, and it was kind of like maybe a murder mystery type thing, but they didn't really market it as. It didn't look like a scary movie. Until you actually saw it, you're like, okay, we're in for a ride now.
Mm-hmm.
So
what was that movie again? What was the name of it?
Scream.
Scream.
Yeah. You're on mute.
Yeah. It's okay. I was trying to hear what you're saying. I got this over here.
Oh yeah, the original Scream. A lot of fond memories with that movie. That was like the big blockbuster of the year for horror movies.
Yeah. Well, it changed horror from that point on. I mean, like I just said, I know you did last summer. You had like a lot of movies that came out in the wave of that. Some that I have on this list that I really like, and even that went into the early 2000s. I mean, it went for a while, and it really opened up like the teen horror movies again. And I really think that's great. Yeah, I love the original Scream. I think it's great. I think that's the best Ghostface killers that you know, Billy and Stu are still the goats of Ghostface killers, in my opinion. Yeah, 81 and 80. So pretty
If
high.
if you dissect that movie, there's more to it than just the movie. Like if you realize, like it's kind of, I don't know if it's making fun of itself, but it's making fun of horror movies, like running up the stairs when you should be running out the front door,
Yeah.
and different rules
Self-aware.
movies.
So
Yeah,
it was really self-aware, which is, I like that. And like, you have like a guy like Randy who's telling you how to survive a horror movie. Like
yeah.
that's really cool. I always liked that about the movie.
I never thought of those rules actually until he brought them up. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Those
Yep.
are in every horror movie.
Hey, never say you'll be right back.
So I also agree. I kind of, with Scream, I thought it kind of, me and Josh kind of disagree about this a little bit. And I think it's probably because of my age. I think in a way, Scream saved the 90s, in my opinion.
It did.
It came out, what, 96 or 97?
96.
I mean, there was some other good movies like Candyman, and we'll talk about some other ones that came out earlier. But also, if you think about it, the late 80s sucked in some of the horror movies where you got into the sequels of some of the
too many
better
sequels.
ones. And like 1989 was a horrible year for horror, but then you had the early 90s come, and then 96 to me was a resurgent. The Scream franchise kind of saved the 90s.
Yep.
Also, it kind of rejuvenated the slasher, the teenage slasher thing. So that's one thing I'll say about Scream, and me and Josh pick about it all the time. I think Scream is one of the better franchises over the years. From beginning to end. And I like the way Gregory said it gave reference back to Halloween and other movies.
Yes.
It was very cleverly written. I mean, it was a great, it made you laugh, and it made you also wondering it's a whodunnit. It's kind of like a Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Whodunit? I mean, you're going to pull their mask off, and who's it going to be,
And I thought it had a really good story too. I mean, about the reason why Billy Loomis did it, and I mean, like I said, I really like that movie. I think it's great, and I'm gonna go right into. I'm gonna do my next movie. It's the second movie, the second horror movie I ever saw in the theater, and it would have. So I know you did last summer. Came out in October of 1997. December of 97, Scream 2 came out, and then my dad took me and my sister to see that in the theater. We weren't old enough to go by ourselves, but my dad took us because he was trying to be cool dad, after the divorce. So he took us to this movie, and man, I'm telling you, Scream 2, listen, Scream 2 is not as good as Scream 1, but it's a step below for me. For me, the critics say it's actually better than Scream 1. Huh, Mike?
Yeah, it's close. It's close, but I think they did, but the fans didn't.
No, for me though, it's really good in my opinion. I think it's a step below Scream 1. It's my favorite.
81 and 80, 81 and 80 for Scream.
Yeah.
82 and 58 for Scream 2.
It's my favorite Scream movie that's not the original. I mean, it's in my opinion, it's that good. It's really good. I think some people get lost about the killers, but I think the killers are all right. I think they're fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with them.
Sorry, Jackson's at the door.
Okay, I really like Scream, the opening scene of Scream 2, Mike. Where they're in that theater. You know how it can be nuts. People are running around with Ghostface costumes. Like, it's really a cool opening, man. Really, really cool in my opinion. And it's way different from the opening of the first one. That's what I like, is they changed it up. It wasn't the same old girl alone at home. It took place in a busy ass movie theater. So yeah, I really like the opening, and the cast is good. I think the cast is really good. And yeah,
somebody agrees with you. Old Restless is saying, yeah, Scream 2 was cool for starting the Stab franchise.
Yeah, did that as well. Started the Stab franchise as well, which is carried on through all the Scream movies.
So,
and
I want to bring this up, guys, and maybe I made a mistake on this. And
that's not in the 90s.
It's like 2002, right?
Yep, but that doesn't count.
And Ringu, the Japanese one, was the late 90s, like 98.
Yeah, but I don't count that. I mean, I didn't never watch
the Japanese version.
I never watched it.
Yeah, it actually in Rotten Tomatoes is ranked as #1 movie of the 90s.
I've never seen it.
I don't think the opening for Scream 2 is as prevalent and impacting as the first one. It had
No, but
its
it's still good.
moments. Huh?
It's not, but I still think it's really good.
Oh, it's very good.
It had
Mike,
its
did you ever?
Number one, Scream number one, in my
Oh, yeah.
opinion, may be
The best opening ever.
maybe the top.
Yeah.
I like maybe that's a different show we need to do there, Josh.
Yeah.
It may be the best opening horror movie scene.
Yeah. I mean,
First 5 minutes of it. I also like Halloween, the original Halloween. I know you guys don't. The first 5 minutes of that.
sure.
Well, I like it. I like it. It's just.
I think you're right, Mike. I think the original Scream, you can make an argument for it being the best opening to a horror movie ever. Honestly, you can. You can make an argument. It's definitely in the conversation. But Mike, did you ever experience a theater that was that bat nuts crazy?
Yeah,
Like at Scream 2?
The 90s were that way. I'm telling you, people don't believe that, but I worked in the 90s. The theaters were that way. They were cheering people. People dressed up in costumes. There was a big resurgence of the Rocky Horror Picture Show in the 80s and 90s, and people would bring and throw rice and toast and dress up. And listen, man, that when I saw that movie, I dug it. I've heard other people that are way younger than I am go, "That's just crazy. That would never happen." Oh, hell yeah, it did. It happened that way.
It wouldn't happen nowadays with everything going on, but,
No, but
yeah.
back then, people would dress up and come to the theater and crank a chainsaw up back then. I think what happened was it in the 90s that the Columbine shooting
Late
happened?
99.
Huh?
99, I think it was.
So, yeah, kind of around that time period, they quit doing stuff like that. When some of the mass shootings in the movie theaters, they quit. But like as a usher in a theater, man, we used to go and scare people. We would put a mask on, walk in the back of the theater, go down, check the exit doors, come back and have a mask on and like hold it up underneath your face, scare people in the movies. I mean, we just had a good time with it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Gregory, you're right. The opening of Scream 2 isn't as good, but man, it's a hell of an opening in my opinion. So Mike, what?
I'm sorry. You did mention Columbine, and I believe that's why they changed the script for Scream 3, being that we're talking about Scream, because they were going to have some things in that, and once that happened, that's why they changed the whole script around, and that might be why some people like it and some people don't, because it wasn't the original idea that they were going to do.
Yeah. Okay, so Mike, you're up next, man. What movie are you going with next on the likes? I got dislikes too, so we'll get to those in a little bit.
I got some of those too.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring up one that some people don't feel like it counts in this genre of horror. I do. Josh, this is one of his favorite characters in the movie, is in this horror movie. Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs, to me.
It's horror, dude. It's horror.
You look it up and it'll say psychological thriller, or some say horror. I'm going to count it as horror. Let me pull up the score on it. Go ahead and do your character. Go ahead and do your character there, Josh.
Hey, Buffalo Bill.
God.
Is it Buffalo Bill or
You
Buffalo
put the
Bill?
lotion on.
I like it. Now listen, this is a show for adults. You know, we're not for kids here. I like the part where he gets up and he's like, "I'd fuck me."
Oh,
So sick.
I love that. Yeah,
where he puts the lipstick on too.
He's like,
yes. He was disturbed.
Josh is disturbed. Josh is disturbed. I'm telling you that.
Dude, look at this. Look at this rating. Holy crap.
No, I mean, that guy was disturbed.
So, yeah, I mean, some people, it says a mystery thriller crime. I've seen some that say horror. I'm going to count as horror.
I do too.
In the chat in here,
Yeah.
do you guys think this is really horror or not? I count it as horror. It's one of mine. If not,
I think
give me a thumbs down. Tell me no, it's not. Then
it's got elements of it. It's not a pure horror, but it could be like thriller, mystery horror. Well, you know what I mean?
That's the one thing about the 90s. This was actually early 90s, right? 91. But in the late 80s, after the slasher craze in the 90s, a lot of your true crime stuff started coming out, like psychological thrillers. There's other movies we'll talk about too. But in real life, you had the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff going on. You had some other crazy stuff going on, like crime dramas. You got the late 90s. You had O.J. Simpson. So a lot of those kind of true crime detective type thriller horror movies came out. And to me, this is one of the best of the best.
It's great.
So Gregory says, no, Mike, it's not a horror movie, right?
Well, I was like in between for me.
The Goberts say it and too.
They're saying no.
Okay.
So Old Restless, what do you, if you're still in here, what do you think? Yeah, the great Ted Levine. So do you think Old Restless is considered horror or not? Holly, what do you think? She said psychological horror. Love the series. Yeah.
I feel like Buffalo Bill steals that whole movie when he's on screen, man.
Yeah, he wears a dude's face. That was horror. Okay, I agree. Hannibal Lecter is scarier to me than some other horror villains.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fava beans and man. Okay.
Okay,
I'm
Gregory,
done with
you're up. You're up next, buddy.
He does that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with the Wes Craven theme for now, and I'm gonna say Wes Craven's New Nightmare is actually a big good one for me in my mind.
Yeah.
It's like the actors are in a movie they're playing themselves, but also their character, which was a really cool concept. I haven't seen that before.
Yep. It's pretty meta. It's pretty meta.
And just Freddy Krueger looked so much better, I thought. This was like the one movie where he looked really awesome.
I thought so. I think so too, Gregory.
The makeup effects, everything. And it was weird because it was like Robert Englund was playing himself, but he was also playing Freddy. Like when he was doing that painting, he was acting weird, like, because he said we're going to be gone for quite some time when he was on the answering machine. And I'm like, that kind of threw me off because it's like, okay, are you yourself? Are you going back as Freddy? It was just kind of weird how they did that, but and that they wanted to make another ultimate movie with Heather Langenkamp playing Nancy, and so that it was actually the movie was writing itself in real life as the movie was going on, basically. So I thought that was really cool. You see Wes Craven, you see, I think, some of the real producers and everything in the movie. I thought it was genius. And then the little boy Dylan, and I know you guys saw that Dylan's Nightmare. I haven't seen that yet. It's not
you should see it. Like that. You'll like it. It's literally a continuation when they get old. I mean, Miko Hughes is in it. I mean, he's reprising his role. Now, Old Restless says he hates Miko Hughes.
Huh?
Man, I really like him as Gage in Pet Sematary too. I mean, he's also in that.
He was creepy.
Mike, do you have any memories of this movie? Have you seen it?
I hate to say it, I may have to pull out my, turn over my horror card on here, but I can't remember this. I mean, I don't know. Cool. I need to go back and watch it again.
So, Mike, it was Wes Craven's first step into like doing kind of like a meta movie where it's a movie in a movie, and then that set the template for Scream. Like that, when he had some success with New Nightmare, then he was like, okay, I'm gonna go into this avenue next, and it was Scream. So
I do need to go back and watch that. My wife and I have actually went back and watched after we met many of the Nightmare on Elm Street cast in the past, and we got Heather Langenkamp's autograph.
Very nice, right, Mike?
Going back and watching, all the way from one all the way through again, and just going back and catching up. But we watched one and got halfway through it. My wife had forgotten the whole thing about, Freddy and what had happened and stuff. So that's one I need to go back and watch. I really do.
The original Nightmare on Elm Street is really, really good, but that's 80s, so we'll leave it there. Gregory, you said New Nightmare. Okay, so now I'm up here. Okay, so I'm gonna say one that also I would say. See, I'm just rolling. This is like the third horror movie that I saw in the theaters. Like I remember them all just because. Now this is this also is in the same vein of came from Scream. I know you did last summer. And that is maybe a little lesser known horror movie, but it is a slasher. And it had a cool concept. And like I said, I saw it in the theater. And Robert Englund actually is in this movie. He has a quick part in it. He plays a college professor. And that is Urban Legend.
Yeah.
I like this movie. It's got a cool killer where they have an axe. They got this big oversized coat on. You can't see the face. Robert Englund's right here on the back cover. He's right. Yep, he's right here. But yeah. Oh, and one of the funny. This has a good young cast too. Yes, it's very low. I enjoy it, Mike. Have you watched this, Mike? Mike?
You're on mute.
He's always turning himself on mute.
Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of the back feed here. So a 27 and 37, and you like it?
Oh, Mike, I saw this in the theater, dude. I like this. This like the killer kills people by urban legends, dude. Like that's what's the cool part about it.
I'll go. Movie. I mean, that's why we have this show. Is you guys are bringing up some ones that maybe I haven't seen or.
So this has a good young cast too. It has her name's
Jackson, Rebecca Gayheart.
Yeah, Rebecca Gayheart has Joshua Jackson, has Tara Reid.
Yes.
It has listen, it has
you got me now. I'm gonna go back and watch it tonight. It's got Tara Reid in it.
Yeah, she's hot.
You had me at Tara Reid. I mean, you had me.
It has Jared Leto in it. But listen, I want to tell you something really bizarre. People will ask him about this movie, and he goes, I never was in that movie. He will deny that he was ever in this movie. He says he never was in it.
He was in it.
I know he is. He's right here on the freaking cover.
And
he'll tell people he wasn't.
Brad Dourif was in it, too.
Oh, yeah. Brad Dourif is in the beginning of this, Mike. In the very beginning, he's in it for a little bit.
The one that plays
Look at the whole cast right here.
Yeah, seriously, dude. Yeah, Robert Englund plays the professor. It's another Mike. It's another
Danielle Harris is in it.
Yes, she is in it. She plays a roommate. Listen, it's
that was her. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, remember she's the goth chick.
Yep.
Listen, it's a whodunit, Mike. You would like it.
Yeah, you know me. I like them whodunit. So yeah, you got me.
You would definitely like it. And I'll say it's not what you would expect. That's what I like about it.
I was very surprised who it ended up being. I'm not going to say anything.
Yep.
You could watch Urban Legends 2. That one was okay. Urban Legends 3 was like crap. That was not a good movie. But the second one was decent. The third one, I think, was Bloody Mary or something, and it was just stupid. It made
that's what I like about this movie, Mike, is that the killer kills people with urban legends. Like, the one where you flash the person going down the road with your high beams and they chase you.
Oh yeah.
Or like the pop rocks and the soda, it's really, that's what's cool about it. It's like, it's just different. It's just not a normal slasher.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I know the rating's low, but for me, it's nostalgic and I really like it. So
Josh, are you saying sometimes it's not all about the ratings then?
Yeah, right, Mike.
It's not, maybe not the most recognizable either.
Wait a minute. Hey, Old Restless said Urban Legend is a very good 90s slasher. See, Mike? Old Restless knows what's up.
Yep, Old Restless has got me going to back you up here. I'm going to watch it.
You always go by the critics and all that.
Gregory likes it too.
Yep.
Okay, Mike, you're up next, buddy.
All right. I'm going to pick one that was at the theaters as well. I remember this. And it is, if I'm not mistaken, Stephen King's Misery.
Okay.
Misery, the whole, somebody having I think it was a car wreck, and then he's in the bed, and Bateman, what's her name? Kathy Bateman?
Yeah, Kathy Bates.
Bates.
And then James Caan played the writer.
Yeah. And man, she was scary. I felt bad for him. She came in there with that sledgehammer, with that piece of wood between his legs. Oh,
I've never seen it actually.
You've never seen it.
I've only
you got to see that one, Gregory. I mean, that one. Now I'm going to look this one up. This one has very high ratings.
Yeah,
I've never seen in 1990.
Mike, I've never seen it all either.
This is right behind Silence of the Lamb.
Yeah.
91 and a 90.
Me and Mike, me and Michelle went to watch it about a couple months ago, but like we couldn't. It wasn't on any streaming service, so we are like, okay, we'll wait for it to be on a streaming service. But yeah, we want to watch it. I've never really seen parts of it, Mike.
Man, Misery is really good. It's kind of a slow burn too, though, Josh. So I don't know if you'll like it as much as you know me. I like the slow burn movies. I like the layering of the stories.
So you're telling me it's boring?
It's a psychological thriller.
Wait a minute. You told me you like to watch movies where you don't have to think.
Those are distractors. Like Scream. I don't have to think when I watch that. They just go around and kill somebody.
Oh my gosh. Well, you got to think. You're like, who is it? What's going on? You know,
I'm waiting for the Scooby-Doo moment at the very end. They always pull their mask off. You know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Misery. I think Misery is a great one. I think if y'all haven't watched it, I remember at the theater, it did really well at the movie theater. I was trying to see real quick what it did.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch it. Honestly, me and Michelle, that's one on our list that we really want to watch. So yeah, I'm with you, Mike.
Not as good as I thought. 54.7 million at the box office. That's USA only though. In 1990. Really good cast. Kathy Bates, James Caan. Those are the main ones though, but definitely Kathy Bates and James Caan did a great job.
Yeah, great actors. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it, Mike, honestly. Hey, Greg, you're up, buddy.
All right, so I will do well, we're staying on the good ones. Okay.
Yep.
So The Haunting. I don't know if you guys remember the movie The Haunting.
That Liam Neeson in it?
Yep. And Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yep.
And Owen Wilson.
Yeah, I did watch that, but I don't remember it well. But I do remember Liam Neeson was in it.
Yeah, that one I liked a lot. It was kind of similar to House on Haunted Hill, but not really. And I think House on Haunted Hill the remake was in the 90s, or maybe it was 2000. I don't remember. But yeah, The Haunting was really good, in my opinion, anyway.
Okay, yeah. Mike, do you have any knowledge of that one?
I've heard it, and I think I've seen it, but I was trying to look it up on Rotten Tomatoes, and it won't bring it up. It brings up a bunch of other movies, like remakes of it, but I don't find, for some reason, Rotten Tomatoes, I can't find it on here, but I'm pretty sure I saw it. I mean, I can't comment on it, though. I mean, I'd have to have something to trigger on me, but
I like the story, and like they connected it with one of the characters. There is a connection which comes together at the end, which was kind of cool as well, which was the reason why everything was going on. But it's worth the watch if you haven't seen it. It's a fun movie, actually, and the special effects I thought were awesome for its time in that kind of a movie.
Okay. Yeah, Old Restless said one of the remakes that came along because of remake. So yeah, like I said, I do remember watching it. I think Old Wilson, doesn't he like he gets his head chopped off or something.
Yeah.
I do remember watching. I think my sister and me rented it from Blockbuster or something in the late 90s. But yeah, I can't comment on too much. Okay, let's do one more good movie, and then we'll get into each, and then let's get into the bad.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with my last one. Is a movie that I love, and I can rewatch it, and I have watched it a million times, and that is From Dusk Till Dawn. Came out in '96. I love that movie, man, because
that's on my list.
the first half, not a horror movie at all. It's more like a crime movie where two brothers are trying to get away. You know, they did a robbery. They killed some cops on accident. Not an accident. They just killed them because they're trying to get away. Mm-hmm. And then halfway through the movie turns into a freaking vampire flick, and it is awesome.
I need to watch it again. It's been so many years.
Yeah, Mike, have you seen this movie, Mike?
I have, but it's been many, many, many years ago. So I can't.
Mike, this is such a good one, Mike. This is one you really need to revisit, dude. George Clooney is awesome in this movie, honestly. Quentin Tarantino is good, but he's really creepy in it. Like,
yeah, he is.
In like a sick way. He's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, George Clooney's very good in it. I mean, it's got Selma Hayek in it. It's got what's his name? It's got Cheech Marin in it. Cheech Marin actually plays 3 different roles in this movie, and it's funny. Yeah, he plays the border cop. He plays the guy in the guy that's like in front of the bar saying, "Come get this, come in here, get this apple pasta," and like he's like that guy. And then he's the guy at the very end that comes and tries to get them out of there. So he actually has 3 roles in this movie, which is funny. All different characters. And but yeah, and it's got the great Danny Trejo in it. He plays the vampire. I mean, it's really cool. A really cool movie. It's got Juliette Lewis in it. Harvey Keitel is in this. I mean, it's a really good movie with a good cast.
Oh yeah. Now I remember, because they were like a family that gets kind of stuck in the middle of everything.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's like kind of like, well, I guess a slow burn in a way. I mean, stuff happens, but once they get to the bar's called the Titty Twister. Once they get there, it is on, Mike. Once they get there, it's great.
And I think they do twist like on the side, it like moves or something.
But yeah, it's great, man. It's all in the special effects. There's a lot of practical effects in the movie, and I can really appreciate. Well, the great Tom Savini is
That's
in the
what
movie.
I was going to say. Didn't he play a character in that movie? I think I remember that.
Yeah, he played Sex Machine.
Yeah, he had a little gun. He had some kind of revolver that shot the light out of his crotch or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. His name was Sex
okay,
Machine.
I remember it now. The crotch shot. That's what got me.
Yeah,
once you said Tom Savini in the crotch shot, I remember it now.
Yeah, great Tom Savini's in it, man. I mean,
the biker gang, like the biker guys, you know?
Yeah, he was the biker guy. Yeah, and his name, like I said, his name was Sex Machine. It was funny.
That was a movie that spawned what, like 3, 4, 5 sequels. So
I never seen any of them. I only saw this one.
Yeah, Robert Patrick, I think is his name, from Terminator 2. He was a T-1000. I think he was in the second one.
Oh, yeah, I did see that one. That was horrible. Hey, one of my favorite parts about Dusk Till Dawn is at the end when they're in this room and they're getting all these weapons and stuff together to fight the vampires. George Clooney like takes some kind of like jackhammer or something and like sharpens off a piece of wood, sticks it in the end, and then he's got this automatic stabbing stake, and it is awesome, dude. It's great. So I love the movie. Mike, you're up.
All right, you know me, I like to push the envelope on what is really considered horror, mystery, or thriller. So I'm gonna go with 1999, and I'm just gonna show you guys. Bam.
I can't
see.
Sixth
Sense to me was creepy, eerie, all that stuff at one time. 1999. I know it's PG-13, but when the kid goes walking through the house, he's half his brain's blown out in it.
Yeah.
Kids hiding underneath the little tent in the bedroom, and the real skinny girl that, you know, he's solving these mysteries along the way. I thought it was a great movie. It's one of my favorites of all time.
It is.
And
the twist
I consider it a horror. Some people may not think it's a horror movie. I do, and I think it was the way it was written and the very end of it, how it comes out, the ending of it, I think was brilliant.
Yeah, the twist is incredible.
I think to this day it is M. Night Shyamalan's best movie.
Without a question. Without a question.
Village though too, actually.
You like what?
I did like The Village also, actually. I liked the ending, like when they showed what it really was, because you never really thought that until the end.
Oh, The Village was a big stinker.
What about Old?
Old was horrible.
I've never.
We paid money to go see that. It was so
what
bad.
about The Happening? That move where they run away from like grass or whatever, the trees.
The wind.
Yeah, the wind. That was horrible.
Weird. I remember that.
Stupid.
No, he didn't do Signs. That was
he did Signs.
He did Signs too.
That's an okay movie.
One of his better ones as well.
Yeah, that one's okay.
Yeah, we love that one.
So okay, so Greg, Mike, do you want to say anything else about that movie before we move on to Gregory?
No, I'm good.
It's great, Mike. You did a great job picking there. Gregory, what's your last one for the good?
I'm going to pick Interview with a Vampire.
I've never seen it.
You need to see that movie.
I know I do.
It's a very good movie. It's up there with Bram Stoker's Dracula, actually.
Wait a minute. I couldn't finish that one.
You need to finish that one. But this one's really good. I mean, you got Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, two of the biggest stars and heartthrobs of their time in the 90s, of that time period in their day, playing vampires. And it's right off the pages of Anne Rice's book. And the little girl that's in it is actually Kirsten Dunst, who we all know as Mary Jane in Spider-Man.
Yep.
She was in Jumanji.
Yeah.
I think she went from Interview with the Vampire into Jumanji. So we saw her grow up, but she was an amazing actress in that movie. She was really good. And just the story alone, I need to watch it again, but the story alone, it's just like unfolds. Like, it's stories within the story, because you have all these different characters and you're seeing their story unfold within the story. So you have to pay attention to it, because I think they go back and forth, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember when it came out and it was on VHS, and I was at my aunt and uncle's, and I had to promise that I was going to close my eyes during the nude scenes. So I had to look away and close my eyes because I was too little. But the movie without that, even still, was good. And then later on, of course, I saw the whole thing, so it was like whatever. But that's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend it.
I do need to watch it. It's
Antonio Banderas was in there too.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
Yep.
Yep, 63 and 86, pretty darn good score.
Yep.
Josh, before we go to the bad ones, man, I think we need to go another round, or
okay. Well, if you want the live to go a little longer,
or I need to just give some, because there's still some that in this. I know I give you a hard time about the 90s, but I think there's some here that we missed that are really good.
Okay, so hey, how about we if we have enough, how about we each say 3 more, but all in a row? We just say them. Like, I'll say 3, you say 3, Greg will say 3 of good ones if you guys got them.
Okay.
Okay, is that good enough?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Some of these you may want to talk about, though.
Okay, so listen, I'm gonna say 1998's The Faculty. I really like that movie. It's got a really good cast. Josh Hartnett. It's got Elijah Wood in it. It's got some other people I can't remember right now. Oh, it's got Usher in it. Usher's in that.
Jordana Brewster was in it.
Yep, Jordana Brewster. It's also got the T-1000 dude in it. He played a coach in that. But it's not about slashers and not like that. It's about actually like Invasion of the Body Snatchers type stuff. Mm-hmm. It's an alien. That's why I like it. It's a really cool horror movie.
And it was written by Kevin Williamson too.
Yeah, it was written by Kevin Williamson. Same one, Scream. Yeah, I really like it. The Faculty is a good one for me. I am also gonna say 1990s Tremors. I love that movie with Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. I really like Fred Ward as an actor.
He was fun in that movie.
Yeah, I love Tremors. It's fun, and actually, there's like 20 freaking Tremors sequels. There's like 20 Tremors sequels. I don't know, but I really like the original. I think it's good. Actually, I like the sequel as well, Tremors 2. I actually really like that one. So yeah, that's my other one.
Reba McEntire was in that too.
Yes, and then I'm gonna say one that I really like from 1995, and that is Tales from the Crypt: Demon Knight. I love that movie. I love Tales from the Crypt TV show. I think it's great. And I think this first movie, not Bordello of Blood, well, that's on the other list, but Demon Knight, Billy Zane as the demon is awesome. He is great in this movie. And yeah, it has a really good cast. William Sadler is in the movie. Jada Pickett is in the movie. It's got a really good cast. And Demon Knight, definitely check it out. Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight.
As you mentioned that, I don't know if you saw, but I read that apparently M. Night Shyamalan is supposed to be bringing back Tales from the Crypt I think it's
yeah.
the TV
I think I
series.
posted that today in Real Dead. Yeah, he's got like a nine or 10 episode series.
Yeah, I think the time is right. I mean, Tales from the Crypt. I saw something of a TNT. No, it needs to be on a place where it can do everything it wants to do and no restrictions.
Yeah,
TNT would not be a good place for that.
I think it was on HBO when it first came out. How many episodes did you say, Mike?
I think it was like I thought I'm seeing 9 to 10 of them. So I mean, like a whole series. I think now is the time. Horror is peaking again, and horror movies. If you look at the box offices, the horror movies are doing great.
Yeah,
the whole Marvel thing is kind of starting to go down.
Yep.
So I think now is the time for a Twilight Zone horror type shock theater
Tales from the
type
Crypt,
show.
dude. Like I said, I think
it's time for that.
Mike, I agree. Tales from the Crypt would be ripe. And like I said, even if you brought it to Max, I mean, I think it could be back on Max and it would be awesome. You could do a lot with it.
And then
even AMC got away with a lot. I mean, with the Walking Dead series. So even that could do an AMC, like a Walking Dead, like a 1 hour show, and each one be a different one.
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt is a movie where a lot of actors wanted to be in that show, even for a small, moment. Like that was the 90s where you threw in all these big actors, they just wanted work. And I mean, there's all kinds of actors in those things.
Dude, like it's crazy. It's a laundry list of names. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger directed an episode of it because he wanted to be a part of it. And he was almost at the height of his fame, like in the early 90s when he did that. So, I mean, like, dude, it was a destination. It was, I mean, comedians did it. I mean, Mike, Sam Kinison is in an episode of Tales from the Crypt in the early 90s.
Man, I was listening to Hair Nation on the way to work today.
Yeah.
And Wild Thing came on with him singing it. I about died laughing hearing that.
He was great, dude. He in that show. It's funny because in the episode of Tales from the Crypt, I know we're on a sidebar. He plays the voice in some guy's head, and he's always going, "Yeah, like he always screamed." So yeah, it was good. But yeah. So okay, Mike, what about your 3, man?
All right, I'm gonna say 3, but I got more than 3 written down here. Maybe I should let Gregory go first. Gregory, do you got any more?
I just want to rip them. Like, there's a whole bunch.
I have a whole bunch too left. I didn't say all mine.
So
you give 3, Gregory, and I'll give 3. And then if you got a few more we want to throw in there, let's throw them in.
Yeah, well, some of these I kind of got to condense together. But Species and Species 2, I loved those movies when they came out. And
Species 1 was good.
Yeah, I love the second one too. I thought they did awesome with the first 2. The third one, they had Natasha Henstridge for just a little bit, and then they went off to some other thing. I'm like, I wish it was just 3 with her, finish out her story, but they did just very fast.
Man, she was a hot tamale.
She still looks good for her age these days too. I actually saw what she looks like now, and she still looks the same basically.
Okay.
So Species, and then Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp. Yeah, it's a Tim Burton movie. It's not rated R, but it was a very good retelling of Sleepy Hollow. I loved it with Christina Ricci. That was an all-star cast.
Yep, that was good. Christopher Walken.
Yep. And then, oh gosh, I have too many I think are good. The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. That
really
one was
good
too, I thought. And it has E.T.'s mom in it also.
What's her name? Shoot.
Dee Wallace.
Oh, yeah, Dee Wallace.
She was in The Howling, but that was in the 80s. So
right.
She's been in a lot of movies.
She has, but yeah. I'll just give those for now. So
okay, Mike.
All right, listen. I'm bringing the heat right now, guys.
Okay.
I'm bringing the big punch that's going to knock you guys out. Hasn't been mentioned, and I think anybody that doesn't like this movie just sucks. It's just my opinion on it. This one right here, if you grew up in this time period, bam. How do we forget that? Why did we not include this?
Holy crap, dude. I didn't write that down.
Project scared the shit out of everybody, man. Everybody thought it was real. Everybody thought it was real. I remember the theater, the posters. I remember being at, everybody thought it was real. This was back before the internet. Maybe you had dial-up around that time, and it took forever to get on the internet. These people's families started sending like food to their houses to their parents because they thought they were really dead.
Yeah.
This movie is probably one of the best found footage films out there.
Great.
Started the whole thing.
I've never seen it.
I had to. When you said we want to go to the other ones, I had to jump in there with that one.
Mike, how does that only have a 50-some% on freaking audience score,
That's
bro?
the audience, because they're probably the ones that found out. It's probably the ones that watched it after they found out they knew it was fake the whole time. I'm telling you, people used to leave the theater upset, kind of like The Exorcist, like, man, it was too scary for them. And that very end scene when they're going through the house, and then all of a sudden you come around the corner and you see him
the guy's in the corner. Yeah.
Oh man, look, cold chills right now coming up on
Mike,
scared the shit out of me.
Mike, me and my sister rented that, and we knew it was fake at that point, and we still were freaking freaked out by the movie. But listen, dude, I remember the hysteria with this movie in '99. I was a freshman in high school, Mike, and it was just everybody was talking about it in high school. Everybody talked about it. I don't know how I didn't write that down, Mike, because when we rewatched this last year, I haven't watched it since I was younger.
Only dumb people. Old Restless says, you must not be old then if you didn't think that was real. Because back then, everybody thought it was real.
No, a lot of people thought that was real, Old Restless.
Yeah, I mean, it was promoted that it was real. Nobody knew that it was. It wasn't like you could go on the internet and like find out from people saying, hey, it wasn't real, blah, 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 blah. It really didn't come out that it was fake till about a month or two after it came out.
People still thought it was real when it was in the theater. Yeah.
I've never seen it. And then they had a sequel that bombed, I heard also.
The sequel is actually it's a victim of like studio meddling, but like the original version of it is really good actually. The
promotion for the Blair Witch Project, how they
great.
Promoted it with very little money was genius.
Yes.
It was just actually absolutely genius.
Greg, you've never seen the Blair Witch Project, bro?
No, never seen it.
It's good. It's really
good.
It
is going back. The shaky footage can make you kind of sick a little bit if you're not used to that. It is a lot of shaky footage, but I'm telling you, if you dive into this, Gregory, and kind of take your mind back, they don't show a bunch of like killing and stuff like that. So it's nothing like that.
There's no killing.
It's more of a psychological part of it, but
the
things that are happening in it, man, just grab you, man.
It's really good.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and say real quick, 7.
Yeah,
7.
Yep,
love
really
that movie.
Good.
It's got 3 or 4 great. Was it Morgan Freeman?
Brad
Pitt. It's got
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. Exorcist 3. I know Exorcist 2 was horrible. Exorcist 3's got really good reviews. A lot of people love Exorcist 3.
I've never seen it, but I want to watch it.
Another one here. I know it's maybe a little cheesy here, but it wasn't bad for the time. Arachnophobia.
Oh, that's great. I love Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia was a good movie for that time period in the 90s.
I love Arachnophobia.
I actually thought of watching that again. We have it on DVD. I like that one, and I think they actually used real spiders for.
They did.
I remember they were using blow dryers to get them to move where they wanted to when they were filming it.
Yeah, and then you got.
Huh?
Oh, never mind. I was just saying you got Jeff Daniels and John Goodman's in it. I mean,
the mom from Honey I Shrunk the Kids is in it too.
Yeah, I really enjoy that movie.
I know the ending, that wasn't a real spider, but that was a humongous spider. That was pretty cool.
Yep. Hey, I want to add one here or a couple here. We got It from 1990. That I know that was a mini series, but it still creeped me out when I was a kid, and I know it doesn't technically count because it was on TV. I want to say a movie that came out in 96 called Bad Moon. I love werewolves. This is actually a really good werewolf movie with practical effects.
I don't think I've seen that, but I need to.
Oh, yeah. It's on Tubi, I think, for free. But, yeah, it's Bad Moon from 96. I really like the werewolf movie. Also, I like 1990s Graveyard Shift. It's a Stephen King. It's just a creature feature. It also has Brad Dourif in it as like an exterminator. He's really good in that. Is that he not a big role, small, but he's really good in that as his exterminator. So yeah, I think that's it. Oh, disturbing behavior. I have to throw that in there. Good young cast as well.
I have that VHS.
Yeah, Katie Holmes was like, the apple of a lot of teen boys' eyes back then in the 90s because of Dawson's Creek or whatever. But yeah. So anything else? Any other movies that somebody wants to say?
The People Under the Stairs.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's a Wes Craven, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, yes.
I have the VHS of that too.
And it's actually a little bit political. It's kind of ahead of its time too.
That's right. You're right, Mike.
It was good. I mean, Tim Curry alone, he gave it its life. I know I'm saying it a lot, but Tim Curry was good in that role. I wasn't a fan of the miniseries too much. I mean, yes, for back in the day, it was, good, and that's what they had, and the special effects are practical and everything. But I really like this new It that we have now. But if it wasn't for, well, I'm sure they would have made it anyway without Tim Curry, just somebody else, because the book was there. But Tim Curry really was the heart of that movie.
Yep, Pennywise, yes.
Yeah, I mean the first half was the best, just like this remake. The first half is always the best. The second half of this remake was okay. I don't think I enjoyed the second half of the original too much, but that's why I was like, but it's a good movie, the original.
Yes, I think
damn clowns. Yeah, those clowns will get you.
Do we have anything before we get to the bad movies? Anybody got anything else to talk about with good ones? Okay, so I'm gonna start off with one of the shittiest movies in the 90s that I can think of, and that is Jason Goes to Hell. This movie is a big piece of shit, in my opinion. And listen, Jason's not even in it, hardly. He's in it in the beginning. They blow him up. And then it's like this entity that crawls in a big like worm or something, and it crawls in people's mouths and it takes over their body. And then when they like look in the mirror or something, they see Jason, but like they're Jason because like his soul is like in them, they're his entity, and they go around killing people. It's kind of like Halloween Ends before Halloween Ends, Mike. So I mean, it's horrible.
Yeah, I got a 4.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
This was probably worse than Halloween Ends. You have to admit that.
Oh, yeah, it's bad. It's horrible. It's seriously. Mike, I don't know if you've watched it, but it's absolutely the worst. It's the worst Friday the 13th movie in the series, in my opinion. And sorry, Kane Hodder. It's horrible. Though it does have one beacon of light in it that people loved. The very end, Jason's mask is laying on the ground, and Freddy's glove pops out of the dirt and grabs it, drags it down to hell. That's the only thing that people like about this movie, really. So that's it. It's horrible. Mike?
Well, mine can be you could probably add 2 or 3 of it because they came out with them. And you and I watched not long ago this, Josh, but the whole Leprechaun series.
Oh, horrible.
One of mine.
And the very first one, Leprechaun, I mean, I'm a big fan of the actress in it. I can't even say her name.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because my wife would kill me if I said her name. Jennifer Aniston has looked good for many, many years, but
yes,
one of her first movies, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it's just horrible. Those are movies though you watch now, and
they're fun.
You watch them to laugh. There's not really horror movies, and when they do come up with some kills, it's super cheesy, and you just got to laugh at it.
Yeah.
But there were several of the Leprechaun movies that came out in the 90s, and they were just not very good at all.
Very bad.
I like Warwick Davis. I think he was
too
for that role, and then they tried to redo it with some other actor. It didn't look that great, but I like Warwick Davis how he looked.
Okay, Gregory, you're up, man.
Well, mine. I didn't have Leprechaun. I won't. Some of these, like I probably could have said were on the good list, but they weren't like good, but I still think they're good. So I'll just add them into the semi-bad list. So The Relic, I like it. It's not the best movie, but I do like that movie. I don't know.
I didn't care for that one.
No? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I thought it was different. The beginning was kind of confusing a little bit, but it ended up being like part human or something, and it was just kind of weird. But the special effects were cool, I thought, for its time. I liked
Sure.
that.
Mike, did you see what Old Restless said? He said Kane Hodder is in only bad Jason movies.
I think you and I have said that before. I think the only one I really like
number 7 is good.
It's a guilty pleasure is number 7 because it's got some really cool
I like
kills
Jason X a lot.
Yeah, I can't deny it.
Okay, so Gregory, The Relic. Mike, do you have any? Do you know The Relic at all?
I remember seeing it. I don't really remember either way how bad it was or how good it was.
Right.
So I can't. I do remember it though.
I thought the monster was pretty good. I remember it had like these pinchers, and you literally saw it like chop somebody's head off.
It was like a big bug.
Yeah, well, it was like part rat, part bug, and God knows what else.
Right. So the next one that I'm going to say is a movie that I remember seeing the trailer for on TV, and I was like, man, I want to watch that movie because I'm telling you, I was a huge fan of werewolves growing up. And I'm like, oh, I want to see this movie, not knowing that it had a sequel from the or an original movie from the 80s.
I know what you're gonna say.
And so I was like, well, okay. And then my cousin went and seen it, and he's like 3 years older than me. And so he was like, yeah, it was cool, man. I'm like, oh man, I really want to see this. And then when I actually rented it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. I liked it. Fast forward about 25 years, watched it again. It is a piece of crap. And that is American Werewolf in Paris. Came out in 97. It is horrible, Mike. You need to watch this, Mike. It's so bad.
I don't want to watch bad movies. You know, I'm not going to go see Imaginary.
But listen. Well, you drove to the theater and watched Halloween Ends.
Please, Josh, you always bring that up. I'll have to live at.
Mike's like, I gotta take a big drink right now. No, but seriously, it does connect to American Werewolf in London, Mike. But like, so the main girl is actually the daughter of the dude that was the werewolf in American Werewolf in London. That's what they're.
I didn't know that.
Huh?
All these years, I don't think I realized that.
I'm pretty sure because she was pregnant at the end of that movie. She said, "I'm pregnant" to the wolf. Remember?
It could have been her. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, and like, so what they did was it's really late. It's like 97, and the CGI just isn't there, and all the werewolves are CGI, and it looks like shit, man. It looks really, really bad. They tried to make it like all in dark areas so it doesn't look as bad, but like, and then the transformation was horrible. Like when you go the original transformation to this one, I still have fond memories of it just because I thought it was cool back then, but rewatching it now, really, really bad. Okay, Mike, you're up.
I'm gonna give kind of a compilation of some movies that came out in the 90s. The Troll series, like Troll 2.
God, yes.
I like Troll 1. I like Troll 1. That wasn't the 90s though, was it?
I have those on DVD.
Troll 1 wasn't. Troll 2 was 90 or 91. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was horrible.
A movie that I think you kind of like, Josh, and I didn't like, was Child's Play 3 whenever he was in the military school.
Yeah, so I think Child's Play 3 has some really fun stuff in it. Like, don't fuck with the
some of the stuff is fun to laugh at, but it just was not a...
Oh, no, it's bad. It's bad.
But Troll, some of the Critters movies, and then I'm going to say Child's Play 3.
I love the Critters. Critters 1 and 2 are like my favorite of that series. Those were the best.
Were those the 80s or the 90s, though?
Trolls 3 was in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm talking about Critters.
Critters.
Critters 3 was in 1991.
Critters. What was Critters 2?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look it up, but.
Oh.
I remember in Child's Play 3 when they're in that amusement or the carnival, and they were in the fun house or the scary haunted coaster ride or whatever, and you see Chucky hanging on to this thing, this bird that's going up in the air, and all you see are these little feet flailing back and forth. And you know it's like a little animatronic, but
Critters 2 is 1988.
Okay, so that's 80s. Okay. Yeah, I like in Chucky 3 though, like when he kills that barber and he's like, "Pow, you're dead." I like that part. But yeah, for the most part, Chucky 3 is really bad.
I like the ending, what they did to him. I like the ending, and then it led into another movie. So yeah.
Okay. Gregory, what is a bad movie that if you have a couple you want to fire off, you can. I got a couple more, and then Mike, if you don't have any more, we can kind of wrap this up.
Yeah, I don't have any more.
Okay.
Well, Chucky 3, but then it also leads into Bride of Chucky, which I saw that in the theater.
So did I. I saw that in the theater as well.
I thought it was okay. It was more funnier than anything, and I liked how they linked it, how they brought him back from the third one with his face all cut up, and they sewed him back together and all that stuff. But
Yep.
and that's when they introduced Jennifer Tilly into it. But yeah, I have that. These aren't necessarily bad, but they're like in between. Deep Rising, that was a good movie. The special effects weren't always there though.
No.
Idle Hands,
I love that movie.
That was just a funny movie, you know. It wasn't really scary, but
it had some horror elements in it.
Yeah. And then Carrie 2, The Rage, I actually liked that. That was a sequel to the first one. The special effects for that, they could do more in that movie than the original, but the original was practical. So
I heard that movie was horrible.
I would watch it once for its time. I remember seeing the theater, and I like
Mike.
They linked it to the original.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think I ever watched that one.
Carrie 2, The Rage. I heard it was horrible.
You should watch it because they link it to the original really well, actually.
Okay. You have any more, Greg?
For bad?
Yeah. If you don't, that's cool because I got a list. I'm gonna go down them.
I mean, they're not bad, so
okay. I'm gonna go down this list right here. Did you find it, Mike? What was the rating?
Hold on a second. I'll get it.
Carrie 2, The Rage. Man, if it's above 30, I'd be surprised.
What do you think? What do you think it is, there, Gregory?
For its time, maybe 40 to 50.
Boy, you are definitely a half glass half full type of guy. I tell you that.
It's very low, I bet.
Here we go. I'm getting ready to show it here, guys. Bam!
Oh
wow!
33. The audience likes it a little better than the.
I liked it. The special.
That's all that matters is if you like it or not. That's like for me a guilty pleasure for me, and it is not a great movie. Is Halloween H2O. That came out in the 90s.
I like it too.
I kind of like it, and it's got like a 50 score or 40 or 50 score from the critics.
I'm surprised we didn't even mention that one.
Yeah, I like to go back and watch it. I like to
yeah.
that's one of the guilty pleasures for me is Halloween H2O.
Wait, what year did that come out though?
97, I think, because it was the 20th anniversary, wasn't it? From the
it should have been 1998 then.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention that one. Yeah, that's an okay movie. The mask looks horrible with the huge eye holes. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
The eye holes are huge.
Computerized it at one point too, which was bad.
Yeah, just a computer mask. Yeah, that's almost as bad as having a mask with blonde hair on it in the scene.
And it's funny because Josh Hartnett went from that movie to filming The Faculty, and he looked exactly the same.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, 1998, 49 from the audience, 55 from the critics. So, you've seen some better or worse, but that's one of those, to me, that's a guilty pleasure. I kind of like it. Every time it's on, I like to watch it.
I enjoy it. Okay, so I'm going to run down a list of a couple real quick right here. And just, so the Psycho remake from 1998 is Vince Vaughn being Norman Bates. Horrible. It's a shot-for-shot remake, Mike. There's nothing different about it. It's bad. I got Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers from 1995. Horrible.
I thought that was scary
Horrible.
when I first saw it. Actually, just the way that
What
they
did you
did
say?
it. I thought it was kind of scary when I first saw it. Like it was kind of disturbing. Like every time they showed him, you would hear like echoing screaming and stuff, and it just kind of added to it.
Well, he kills what's her name's character in this, but she don't play the part.
Yeah,
Josh,
wrong.
this may be one of the lowest scores I've seen.
It's
It's
horrible,
even worse.
Mike.
It's even worse than Leprechaun. Maybe I don't know.
And the actor in the fourth one that played Michael Myers also, they brought him back for that one.
Okay, what's the score on the Curse of Michael Myers? Ooh!
Oh, there is a cut.
Yeah, a director's cut. Yep.
Is it a director's cut? Yeah,
Yes.
they were supposed to put like a bunch of other stuff in that actually made it a lot better.
Yeah.
So if you look down below here, I mean, Halloween 5 before that was a 12 and a 36.
It's bad.
4 actually was better than that with a 39
I
and
like
53.
4. 4 is a good Halloween movie. 4 is.
4 needs an actual sequel, like with Danielle Harris coming back, the other girl, I forgot her name, coming back, and do it right.
Yeah, Mike, at the beginning of 6, they killed Danielle Harris's character off, but it's not her. It's played by somebody else.
No.
And also they say, basically, they don't say it, but they all but say that Michael Myers got his own niece pregnant and they took the baby. I'm serious, bro. That's in the movie.
That's when it starts out with a running down like these tunnels and stuff with a baby, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
It's horrible, Mike.
I didn't watch it. I cut it off.
And that's the Thorn trilogy. 4, 5, and 6 is the Thorn trilogy. Bad. Except for number 4 is good. Okay, so then you have probably one of the biggest pieces of crap, though. I liked it. It's a guilty pleasure. Sleepwalkers from 1992, Stephen King. It's horrible. It's like Kentucky all over again. The mother and son are banging. I mean, it's...
Oh, my God. I have that on DVD. I don't remember it, though.
It's bad. Listen, Ron Perlman's in it. He's for a little bit. But yeah, it's a really bad movie with bad special effects. But it was always on AMC growing up, so I watched it a bunch.
Did that take place in Kentucky, Ohio, or North Carolina?
Alabama, maybe. I don't know. And then listen, Alien Resurrection. I like it, but it's bad from 97. It's bad.
Its moments, yeah.
Pet Cemetery 2 from 92. I enjoy it because it's, I grew up watching TV, but it's not good. It's not that good. I can't believe that Eddie Furlong went from Terminator 2 to this. Like, what are you doing, dude? And then we have to bring up Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 95. Both stinkers and really bad. The one from 90s called Leatherface. Listen, it has a really interesting teaser trailer where basically I think it's like Leatherface's hand comes out of the water and the chainsaw goes down into his hand. It's like ching. It's like Lancelot or some shit. It's really bizarre. Look up Leatherface from 1990, Mike. What is
that looks horrible, actually.
Shit, it scored better than it scored better than Halloween.
Did it?
Not much, but
what about Texas Chainsaw Massacre Generations from
there
95?
goes your Jason Goes to Hell 15 and 23.
Wow. Yeah, what about Texas Chainsaw Massacre the Next Generation? That was from 95.
Okay, The Next Generation.
Yeah, and that had Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger in it before they were famous. They were both in that movie. The Next Generation, I think it was called, or something. The New Generation, something like that.
Yeah, that one got a lot of heat. That is the lowest score I think I've seen combined on here.
Yeah,
16
it's really
and 18.
Yeah, it's really bad. But yeah, it's horrible for that one. And then I got 2 more, and then I'll be done. I got Bordello of Blood from 96. Absolutely, you go from DM Night, that was actually good, to Bordello of Blood, which is horrible. I like Dennis Miller, but he's not good for this role. Corey Feldman was in it. They brought him in. He's cool, but he doesn't have a big part. And then one I showed you earlier, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. has a Jamaican Jack Black in it. I don't
Right.
but yeah, it's bad. It's not that
That
good.
movie
So.
was okay, I thought. But
I saw it in the theater. It's not good. So, but it's okay. I mean, I'll watch it for like memories because I was like, okay, I saw it in the theater. But yeah, it's not good. So that's it. That's what I got. Anything else, guys?
Brandy was in it too.
No, I think it's been a good show. It's fun to go
Yeah.
down to the 90s. We got to decide next which next decade we're going to do. We have also talked about going and picking certain years out down the road and doing that.
Well,
we've done the 80s, the 90s.
I said we do
may
the 2000s.
need to go back to the 70s or go to the 2000s next. I don't know.
I think we go to the 2000s because I don't know. I haven't watched hardly any movies from the 70s. Only the ones that you had me watch. That's it. That's it.
All right. So we appreciate you guys being with us tonight. Thank you. And if you're watching the replay on this, hit that thumbs up. Also, check us out on Real Dead Horror Community on Facebook.
Yep.
And tell us what you think. What are your favorite movies from the 90s? Which ones do you think were stinkers in the 90s? And you're like, guys, I can't believe you like that. I can't believe you didn't like it. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Give us a thumbs up. Tell us which movies you think are a thumbs down, though.
Yep. And hey, listen, I can't wait till we get to the 2010s because then our horror gets elevated, Mike.
God, this fancy yuppie talk about elevated horror. Jeez, I can't stand that. All right, y'all have a good night. Thank you, Gregory, for coming out here and being with us.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, Gregory.
Gregory did an awesome job tonight. Joshua, too.
Yeah, see you guys. Bye.